Hurricanes, or cyclones as they are referred to in the Indian Ocean, are major atmospheric disturbances. These centers of low pressure originate between 5 and 30 degrees latitude on both sides of the equator. A small number of easterly trade winds become cyclones. They are formed when warm, moist air converges from subtropical highs, creating bands of thunderstorms. Cyclones require warm and deep water, at least 80 degrees Fahrenheit, and a depth of at least 50 meters. Once convergence begins, the moist, warm air rises above the colder, dense air in a counterclockwise motion in the northern hemisphere. This convergence process causes warm air to rise and diverge in the upper troposphere. It produces a steep pressure gradient, forcing air toward the center of the storm in a cyclonic motion. This produces a relatively calm center, or eye. Between the bands of thunderstorms is a relatively calm diameter of approximately 30 miles in which air is descending from the troposphere. The average cyclone is approximately 100 miles in diameter. Cyclone Nargis struck Myanmar in the Irrawaddy Delta on May 2, 2008 as a Category 3 storm, with wind speeds climbing as high as 135 miles per hour. This storm was unexpected in the region as it deviated from its predicted track after reaching cyclone-force winds on April 28th. Nargis moved eastward beginning on April 29th, instead of to the northeast towards Bangladesh and western Myanmar. It would survive until May 7th with a lifespan of 10 days. The results were catastrophic. In the low-lying delta, at least 200,000 were killed by this massive storm surge 12 feet high. Areas around the delta were inundated up to 24 miles inland. Houses were completely wiped away as informal building practices proved ineffective against both the wind and sea level waves. Due to the poor land usage, the mangroves, which act as a natural barrier during storm surges, have been cleared in favor of rice and shrimp farming. Due to this, inundation had a much greater impact, and upwards of 85% of all farmlands in the delta were destroyed. The authoritarian government provided the people of Myanmar with little disaster relief, leading to a massive food insecurity crisis and homelessness for over 100 million. Even with upwards of 1.5 million reportedly starving, the military government resisted allowing international aid organizations to set up food serving and medical stations for 3 weeks. The port city of Yangon faced extensive critical infrastructure damage and is not fully recovered from Nargis to this day. Water channels have not been redirected, and water flows in the streets, stagnating and allowing for a greater potential for the spread of disease. As Myanmar's agricultural capital, this area is not recovered, which has forced the country to rely on importing food and receiving food aid from international organizations. Mitigation plans in the densely populated port for the next big cyclone are minimal at best due to the lack of government funding for natural disaster relief programs.